5 ways that you can transform your mornings and your life. In today's session, I am going to share with you why your morning needs to be a part of your self-care routine and why you need to become more intentional about how you start your day. And of course, 5 ways that you can do that. If you like what I have to share today, make sure to sign up for the 7-day Mindful Mornings Challenge coming up soon. Starts on the 22nd of March. Use the link below to sign up for that. Right? I have been talking about self-care for a while, and it's certainly one of the major parts of our health, right? Our health, creating health. It's that's true for me, and it is certainly true for anyone and everyone. And self-care has many different forms and shapes. Today, I'm talking about a particular part of self-care, which is a morning routine, right? Because too often, many of us wake up in the morning and simply start the day, right? There is a transition which typically happens because after several hours of sleep, your mind and your body needs to sort of shift from being asleep to being awake in a gradual manner, and that transformation can happen smoothly or in a rough manner if we run on autopilot mode, which is where most of us are, right? Or I would say many of us are, even if it's not all of us or most of us. Because the point is that often when we wake up in the morning, we start our day with a list of things that we need to do, with a list of demands, with a worry list, if you will, and that's how we start our day, right? We do not really think about how we can set a tone for the day, how we want to feel during the day, and that's what I want to talk about today. In fact, this is something I had done as a part of a 8-week mindfulness program I did with some children a few years ago. And as a part of that, I want to share an exercise that we had done. And you can do that for yourself and even for your children, right? Teach them how to start paying attention and how to sort of ground themselves, right? Ground ourselves using our breath and using something that is called a glitter jar. So a glitter jar is very simple to make. It's simply a glass transparent bottle, a big transparent bottle where we put in some glitter glue and some color and water, right? And what it helps us to do is it's a tool that we can use, especially if we are not very used to meditation or using our breath. This is a very, very simple yet powerful tool to help ground ourselves, right? And the way I, explain this to those children, and the same way I want to explain this to you. So imagine that if you can visualize, and I'm going to share a picture of a glitter jar so you'll have an idea, but it's basically colored water in a bottle with lots of glitters floating around, right? So the way that typically we wake up in the morning is if you vigorously shake the jar, right, you will see all the swirling colors and the glitters all over the place in the bottle. That's how our minds usually are if we are not intentional about starting the day by grounding ourselves, either breathing or meditation or some kind of morning ritual, right? So you will see our minds are all over the place, and just like in your glitter jar, basically it's just swirling around. The colors are swirling around, the glitter is swirling around. So if you shake it a couple of times, the swirling effect of the water, of the glitter in the jar is exactly how your mind is. So visualize it in your mind, right? That's how you're starting the morning if you're not being intentional, if you don't have a morning routine in place. And what happens is that we start thinking of things that we need to do, things that our chores for the day, that we need to send our children to school or get them ready or get breakfast ready. And even before we know it, maybe in just the first several minutes of your day, your mind is all over the place, right? It's all around. So right now I'm talking about a glitter jar, right? That denotes what exactly it denotes beautifully what exactly your mind is like first thing in the morning, right? If you're not paying attention. And what happens is that once the beauty of this glitter jar activity is if you use it and you allow it to settle down over a period of time, what you will obviously notice is all the glitter settles down at the bottom of the jar. It's definitely still there in the bottle, it's still there in the water. The only difference is that the glitter has settled at the bottom and now the bottle is clear, right? So this denotes, or this sort of tells you how your mind can be if you have some kind of morning routine, some morning ritual, right? So which grounds you. So it's literally grounding you, it's literally helping you become clearer in your thoughts and your actions, thus making you more productive, more peaceful, as you go about your day. So this is a beautiful way of sort of visualizing what your mind probably looks like when you wake up in the morning, right? And something that I highly recommend that you try out with your children. So what I wanted to share with you also is how you can sort of have some rituals in place in your morning because morning is like a blank slate, right? You can fill it with whatever colors you want and put in place some practices that you can sort of you can do every single day to help you have a more clearer day, right? Switching off from autopilot mode, I would say. So what is a morning routine? A morning routine is a set of practices which are designed to, as you do that once you wake up in the morning. So it starts, it can be meditation, it can be breathing, it can be exercise, going to the gym, going for a run, having a cup of tea or coffee. So anything that you journaling, right? Anything that you do once you wake up in the morning. So it's a set of practices. So take some time today and think about how you usually start your day, right? And what you do is start by writing down all the things that you do upon waking up. So just make a list, right? So number 1, number 2, number 3. So just go through and make a list of all the things that you do once you wake up in the morning. And what you can do is from that list, pick up those that you think help you in transforming your mornings, right? Making it whatever it is that you want it to be. So whether it's more peaceful, more productive, more clarity, right? So pick up those practices which are helping you in doing that, supporting you, right? Supporting you in moving from autopilot mode to becoming more aware, right? Helping you be more present in your life, starting with your morning. So pick up and stay with those practices. Again, it will be different for you, it will be different for me, and I'll share with you some of the things that I do almost on a regular basis. Let's face it, it's not about being perfect in, or having a perfect morning routine. It's about having a set of practices that you can do as a part of your mornings on a regular and consistent basis. But more importantly, it should work for you. And that's exactly why it's going to be different for you and it's going to be different for me. So once you have listed down a set of practices that you think you want to continue with and are supporting you, that's where you start, right? So and let me share with you some things that I do in the mornings. And it doesn't matter. I mean, you might be thinking that I'm not a morning person and I'm more of a night owl and I like sort of staying up late and how does it work for me? Honestly, it's not so much about the time that I'm talking about right now. So whether you're waking up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., of course, there is a lot of research behind getting up at a 4 a.m. In fact, there's something called a 4 a.m. club or a 5 a.m. club, etc. So all those things are fine. And if you fall into one of those clubs, nothing like it. Because what happens is, what I find about waking up early, I think the reason it's it's something that I aim for, don't always succeed, but aim for, is because I am undisturbed. It's an uninterrupted time that I do not get for the rest of my day. That's the main reason why that is appealing to me. So if I can get up not at 5 or 5:30, but if I can get up even at 6:30, I can get 30 to 60 minutes of uninterrupted time, right? Of course, it could be earlier, but then that eats into my sleep, and my sleep is very precious because sleep is a big part of health, right? I'm going to talk about it some other time. But coming back to your morning routine, it's not so much today. What I'm focusing on is not so much about the time that you're waking up, but what you do once you wake up in the morning. So again, whether you are a night owl or whether you're a morning person, it doesn't matter for what we are talking about today. It's more important what you do. What are the practices that you have once you wake up in the morning? What are the first things that you do in the morning? As for me, for apart from the usual washroom and brushing, etc., those are the regular stuff, habits that we all have. Apart from that, I usually try and do some kind of writing or journaling. It doesn't happen each and every day, but I try and do it at least 3 to 4 times in a week. I usually finish my exercise in the morning. I try and do a half an hour workouts on, again, 3 to 4 days a week. I don't do it every single day. Maybe a bit of qigong. I have again restarted my qigong practice, which I had sort of let go in the last year or so. So I've just restarted that. So on the days that I am not doing my regular exercise, typically I will end up doing my qigong practice. I will read. I will spend time with my husband over a cup of morning tea, over newspaper, maybe just chat with my kids before the online school starts, etc., etc. So these are some of the things that work for me, right? So you need to think through what are some of the things that basically work for you. So the first thing, so there are 5 things that I'm going to share with you now, and I would like to start with the number 1 because I think that's one of the most important and one of the most effective ways to set a tone for your day, right? Something that you want more of in your day, and it's called setting an intention. So find out, take a few minutes to simply be, pause, right? Stop what you're doing. Even if you don't do anything else, stop what you're doing and just connect with yourself, with your heart, and find out how you want to feel during the day, right? How can you show up in line with what you want to achieve today? And every day is going to be different. So if you have a big presentation coming up, maybe you want to be more focused, right? If you're spending time with your loved ones, if you're a family member coming over, then maybe you want to really be kind or friendly, so it depends on what you want that day to be all about. So what do you want to see more of today? Whether it's more acts of kindness, more love, good news, right? So that's something that can help you reflect on that. What is your heart's desire at this moment? So maybe you want to take a bit of rest, right? Even though, it might be a hectic day, maybe you want to, you've not had good sleep lately, and maybe you want to make sure that you have a bit of rest interspersed in your day. Right? It may not be possible to cancel all your, prior appointments, etc. But maybe you can sort of make sure that you're getting mini breaks. So depending on what you want to see in your day and what kind of day you want to have, you can start by setting an intention. And last but not the least, by asking yourself, how do I want to feel? Right? So some examples are, today I will take care of myself better. Today I will show compassion to others and myself and be more open to joy, right? You don't have to have all of them. You can choose any one, right? So being very clear on what you want to see more of and how you want to feel. So that's setting intention. The second one is journaling or meditation or some kind of reflection, right? So these help you to tune into yourself, and they're beautiful ways to connect with yourself, ground yourself, right? So again, if you're not a meditator, you can simply do some breathing, and if you can't do that, then you can sort of do some writing, reflecting. You need to pick up something that works for you, and there is no one right way to meditate or to write in a journal, or you simply need to find what works for you. And even if you have a formal meditation practice, just this act of paying attention and making it part of your morning routine can make all the difference, and most likely already doing that, because when we bookend our day with an amazing morning routine and we end the day with an evening routine, we are replenished, rejuvenated, and recharged for the next day. Because no matter what else is not in our control in our lives, whether it's if it's at something at work or in our family, how we start and end our day is always within our control, right? So that's what I'm trying to sort of help you with today. The other thing would be the third thing that I wanted to share with you. The third way would be maybe reading, right? And it doesn't have to be a book. I am a voracious reader and I love reading in the morning. I typically have a book that I sort of pick up and read a few chapters or a few pages of in the morning, whatever little time that I get. But you can choose to read something which inspires you, something spiritual, something which motivates you, right? So starting off the day on a positive note. So that's something that is helpful rather than only reading the newspaper or getting a lot of the negativity which comes in, a lot of the negativity which crowds out the positive, all the things that are already there in your life. In fact, this is something that I find which is often missing in many people's lives, men and women both. And I think that contributes a lot to deteriorating health issues, right? Health conditions, deteriorating health in the sense of vitamin J, right? We focus on so much on the other vitamins, but rarely do we give vitamin J a chance, which is joy, right? So when you start reflecting, when you start paying attention, becoming more intentional about how you spend your morning, you start noticing the moments of joy that are already present in your life, because you're inclining your mind towards positivity, towards cultivating a positive mindset. You are more inclined to notice those moments of joy as and when they arrive, because they are there in your life. It's just that you may not be paying attention today. The first way I mentioned is by setting an intention for your day. The second is journaling, reflecting, or meditation, some kind of reflection, self-reflection. The third is reading. The fourth is spending time with family or loved ones. I find that many of us, if we stay with our family, if we don't, maybe connecting over video, right? That's an option that we have. But just spending some time, right? Spending a few minutes, with our family before we all start off our day, really helps us to bond as a family. It again replenishes us. We are social animals. We need each other, right? And we thrive on this kind of connection, because there is so much of rush during the weekdays. Maybe getting up a few minutes early, right? So find some way of making this work for you, so that you can take out of, even if it's a few minutes, even if it's one small hug with your child, right? Even if it's that cup of morning tea with your loved one. So whatever it is that is doable for you, find a way of sort of doing that, right? The fifth but not the least is exercise and movement, right? So, and it's not about only going to the gym. When I talk about exercise and movement, I'm talking about moving your body. And that can mean that you are sort of doing any kind of movement, right? Whether you're running, jogging, walking, doing some kind of mindful movement like yoga and Tai Chi, like I just mentioned, that I do from time to time, but finding a way to move your body, to do some stretches, just to get the blood circulation going, get your body going. Because you might know already, there is a mind-body connection. So what affects our mind affects our body. And when you move your body, what affects your body helps you to feel better in your mind, right? So in fact, we know for sure that if you are worried or stressed about something, it helps to sort of do some kind of movement, even if it's just taking a walk around the block. It clears our head, it gets our neurons firing, and it maybe helps us to sort of find the solution that we're looking for, right? So these are the 5 ways that you can make the most out of your morning. The first one was setting an intention. The second was journaling, meditation, or some kind of self-reflection. The third was reading. The fourth, spending time with your family or loved ones, whether online or offline. And the fifth was incorporating some kind of movement, right? So the key to having a successful and consistent morning routine is to plan for it and remove anything that sort of is an obstacle to it, right? So you can do many things to do that. So whether you are preparing something for the night before, so that you make sure that you work out in the morning. It works best for me when I take out my workout clothes at night, before I start my day, right? So, and then having a simple structure in terms of the activities and time that you are planning to do in the first few minutes of your morning, right? Minutes or maybe an hour. You can sort of block off social media in the morning, maybe for the first 10-15 minutes, so that you are not drawn to it. So many different ways that you can structure your morning and plan for success, right? So designing your mornings can really help you. Having a very appealing sort of notebook or a journal can, and keeping it somewhere, giving yourself a visual cue is always very effective. I find it a very effective tool. So whatever I need in the morning, usually I keep it somewhere that I can see when I wake up in the morning. So my own morning routine is very much a work in progress. It changes with the seasons, it changes with the moods, it changes with the phase of, it has changed over the period of time as my awareness has grown, as I've changed as a person. So it is going to remain a work in progress. There is no wrong way of doing this. You just have to start somewhere. Now, of course, you will already have some kind of morning routine. Maybe it's time for you to become aware of what are the practices that are helping you vis-a-vis what are the practices that are keeping you stuck, right? Stuck from sort of having good optimal health or thriving or living the life that you have been wanting to. So in other words, transform your mornings and transform your days, and in turn transform your life, right? That's how we build up. So again, today was all about why you need to make your mornings a part of your self-care routine and how it can have an impact on the rest of your day and of course then your life, as a result, right? And there are very simple ways of making it your own, because if many other things during your day may not be in your control, but how you spend the first few minutes to maybe the first hour or so is very much in your control, right? And you can design your morning the way it works for you. So to make it work for you, you can sign up for the 7-day Mindful Morning Challenge coming up soon by using the link below. I'll see you soon.